Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Unlike mainstream video game journalists, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. PlayStation Network is down. I'm bored. So we're going to do a little video making fun of Assassin's Creed Shadows because, hey, why not? Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadow is the current pinata. We'll call him a pinata right now. Little rumor control here. So take this with a grain of salt because sources have sources, and do you trust the source and their sources? Over at That Part Plays, John F. Trent, rumor control. Assassin's Creed Shadows originally featured a male Japanese main character, and the game could be delayed even further. This came out, I believe, earlier today. Stuttering Craig was talking about this, and this information comes from Endymion, saying that there was a fully modeled and animated male Japanese protagonist for Assassin's Creed Shadows that was, well, pulled out around 2020. So let's get straight into it, because there's other reliable sources saying otherwise. So, of course, article talks about, I'm going to have links to all the articles and all the everything, what we're talking about, so you can go check them out and read them for yourselves. But hey, like I said, PlayStation Network's down and I'm bored. But beginning of the article talks about the Ubisoft's announcement that Assassin's Creed Shadow is going to be delayed until February. What a coinky dink. February 14th, right? This is strictly for, Valentine's Day, huh? Departing from the traditional season pass, and they offered refunds. They canceled all the pre-orders, offered refunds, and now with the pre-orders, they're giving the first expansion that more than likely they took out of the game to try and sell you for a little extra cost. But let's keep going. This new rumor coming from YouTuber Endymion, who alleges to have spoken with a number of individuals at Ubisoft and who have worked with the company in the past, claims that the game could be delayed even further, and that the game originally featured a male Japanese protagonist instead of Yasuke. Oh, dearie my. Endymion shared, "My source told me, however," again, do you trust Endymion? Endymion trusts his sources. You make this decision for yourself. Just here to talk about it. However, that they heard February 2025 is simply a placeholder release date as of now. Apparently, this is because Ubisoft is scrambling and that they need certain key talent in order to assist in a Q2 game release. I think we've heard other things. One of the financial reasons why they delayed it was because there were some internal issues or something, and they had to get something to boost the end of their fiscal year, not necessarily the game year, when your average yearly quarter, which would be January to December, broken up into 4, of course, because quarters. Anyway, I'm rambling. But their fiscal year, which I want to say, I heard Valiant Renegade mention that Ubisoft Paris's the end of their fiscal year was in March. So perhaps that's the delay. But this is all speculation, because what are they going to tell us? The truth? Nah, not a chance in hell. Apparently this is because Ubisoft is scrambling. I read that already, which, if you didn't know what it means, there's 4 quarter... John. Oh no, that's Endymion saying that. Never mind. Sorry. I don't want to attribute the wrong quote to the wrong person. Endymion, please don't do that to people. Give your listeners a little bit more credit than that, please. We know what a quarter is. Anyway, there's 4 quarters into a calendar year, so Q2 means Ubisoft has something that they think will hit. Yeah, anyway, that is coming out later in the year that they need help on. So because talent at the studio is working to make that future release come out more smoothly, Shadows is not being given the extra hands it kind of needs right now. Interesting. So, like I said, the release date may actually be pushed back even further. Let's keep going. Endymion then revealed his source told him the game originally featured a Japanese male protagonist. Is this something that is believable? I don't know. Again, speculation, rumor, you decide for yourself. Here's the quote. I was also told that when they originally saw the game, there was indeed a male Japanese protagonist with their own finalized art and even animations. They don't know if this character will be reintroduced to replace Yasuke, which is a big old rumor going on as far as this delay. But I can't imagine, can you change the video game that quickly, that easily in 4 months? I'm going to press X'd out on that one. But again, I'm not a developer, so I could just not know. Anyway. But they are skeptical that Ubisoft will actually remove Yasuke. Yeah, they're not taking Yasuke out. I doubt it. Yasuke out altogether due to the whole political, backlash they'll get from journalists and so on. It's interesting that they're more concerned about these so-called journalists being upset that Yasuke is taken out instead of, the backlash they got for Yasuke being in the game set in feudal Japan. They care more about the journalists. Just that amount of speculation is unfortunate, because you would think these developers would care more about the customers, the wallets, the people who, buy the games instead of the journalists who cry like little children on a playground when they don't get their early release copies. Where are we at? Next, he shared details about the game. Quote, they did say that the game's first act is heavily story-driven until it eventually opens up to your more traditional open-world Ubisoft experience, and that the big hurdle there, if they were to remove Yasuke, would be to practically change almost everything about Act 1, so to speak, if they were to remove the character entirely, which, again, would lead more and more people to believe that, no. Regardless, whoever your source is, Endymion, I doubt it. They're not, with all the marketing, the advertising, and the toys, all this material that they've put out for Yasuke, they are not taking him out of the game. So could they remove Yasuke? Doubt it. With this already done but thrown aside Japanese character? Doubt it. It's a big maybe. No, I don't even think it's 1 in a million chance. I don't even think the odds are that good. But they said they weren't sure of it yet. Okay. They also told me they heard rumblings that Sweet Baby Inc. may have had a hand in Shadows. That would not surprise me in the slightest. So what do you think about this lovely, big old, fat little rumor? Well, other people have come out and said some things, namely good old Tom Henderson. Tom Henderson of, over here, doggone it, Insider Gaming. Tom Henderson over Insider Gaming. I'm going to go ahead and link the whole article, but Rhino the Bouncer over on Twitter gave a point-by-point thing. Again, which source do you trust? All these guys, all these different YouTube channels, content creators, and video game journalists, they always have their sources. Sources said this, sources said that. So, do you trust? How much do you trust the individual making the claim? The individual who is trusting their source to give you the information. I'm just here to talk about it. You make that decision for yourself. Do I say that too much? I probably do. Anyway, moving on. So according to Tom Henderson, Yasuke is not going to be removed. I do believe that 100%. The amount of marketing, again, I said it before, the amount of marketing material, the push, the advertising, the promotion of Yasuke, and of course all the other nonsense behind it, that would be probably far more detrimental in the long term for this game, because you've already pissed off one crowd. You take Yasuke out, you're going to piss off the other crowd, and you're not going to bring the first crowd in. The damage has already been done. Next, the team has been actively addressing many of the historical and cultural concerns. You mean like the architectural mistakes? Which started before the game's reveal following external play tests and were accelerated further following the game's initial reveal and mass feedback. You mean, is it possible that Ubisoft is listening to criticism? Oh, I'm going to clutch my pearls on that one. Changing some of Yasuke's story and how he's portrayed in the game. Okay. Fixing architectural details, I already said that one. Ensuring that the game's historically grounded while fitting the Assassin's Creed universe. Hey, maybe that's a good idea. Triple check next time before you put the wrong areas, the wrong geographical areas architecture in the game. Maybe a thought. What sort of quality control do you have over there at Ubisoft? Some issues should have been caught internally. Duh. The duh heard round the world before the game's reveal, especially given Ubisoft's strict asset approval process. That's very difficult to believe. Strict asset approval process. I think we've heard conflicting reports on that one. Like, there was another report, again, a source that came out and said they got to the point when developing the game that you just Googled stuff. Strict asset approval process. Anyway, these issues. How many people are working at Ubisoft on this game? It was reported 3,000. How? If you have so many people working on a game like that, let me know in the comment section down below if you can confirm that, because I heard it. Savvy was talking about it on a live stream the other day. It's been mentioned. 3,000 people working on one game. Regardless of what aspect, you have these people working on the soundtrack, other people working on the environment, other people working on the animations and everything. But there are certain groups, certain departments that need to be communicating with each other. And when you have so many people, obviously things going to get lost in the sauce. So it might be a good idea to, I don't know, strict. You might want to make it more strict. Issues fell through the cracks because historical experts were brought onto the project much later than usual for a project of this magnitude. A little late to the party, I guess. And this miscommunication, that's one way to put it, between teams and cutting corners when it came to the approval process of assets to meet deadlines were also in play. So what you're saying is might wanna do some quality control on the people you hired to do their jobs. The game is currently not at a stage it needs to be for release, even though it's supposed to be coming out in, what, like a month and a half? But now they discovered it's not at a stage for release? And some tweaks to some gameplay mechanics and elements that are going to take time to incorporate. So, again, more information about, why it was delayed. I seriously doubt they're taking Yasuke out, but let's keep going. While some issues were highlighted in recent playtests and mock reviews, these are end-of-development issues that will take a little longer. Longer than 4 months? Could the delay be longer than that? 7 developers working on the project said that they have been pushing for a delay for some time, and their situation had even been heard at other studios in the company. Delay comes down to a strict development timeline and the need to address issues caused by the set timeline. So is this hinting at, oh no, there's going to be crunch at the studios. They're going to have a deadline. They're going to have to work extra long hours to meet this deadline. And then, of course, Jason Schreier is going to get involved and start crying about everything and the piss-poor work environments and toxic work environments and the toxic environment. And, oh, my crunch. Cry me a river. Welcome to the real world of working. Everyone has timelines. Everyone has deadlines. Just get on with it. As long as the issue I would have with crunch time is not allowing sensible breaks. I've had shifts where I've worked 12 hours, but I was still given breaks every couple of hours. If you're not doing that for your employees, that's a whole different story. Working long days, working extra long days. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But, again, allowing your employees to take breaks every couple of hours is might be a good idea during that crunch to alleviate some of that sitting down for 2 hours, standing up for 2 hours. That's where, can get a little disagreement from me. But strictly just work complaining about the long hours would need more information, but I'm rambling again. Let's keep going. As for why Ubisoft HQ continues to ignore the developers on almost every level, well, that's because they're CEOs. They don't know what they're doing. They're just pencil pushing money. They check the bottom line. If the bottom line isn't where it needs to be, then they just send out mandates to somebody else to take care of it. Why would they listen to that's the executive committee and board of directors? Why? I don't think any of those top level guys listen to the guys at the bottom. And essentially the developers are the ones at the bottom. CEOs and board of directors, executive committee, all those stuff. They're at the top. They only care about the bottom line. Why isn't the bottom line higher? Do what you have to do to get the bottom line higher. They're clueless. Let's see. Where was I? Deciding the review, although 80% of the 40 Ubisoft developers think this ends in no change or layoffs, well, there's going to be other reasons for layoffs, that's for sure. Lackluster sales for Star Wars Outlaws. The continuously tanking Ubisoft Paris stock prices. We'll see. But that's another story, the internal release for another time. Ubisoft Quebec will release Assassin's Creed Shadows on February 14th. That tells me, regardless of what condition it's in. So even with this 4-month delay, that they believe the game is not in a playable state, they firmly believe that, crunch or not, the next 4 months will be able to put it in a state that is playable. Interesting to think that way. Let's see. Oh, they bring up pre-orders. And while the game isn't matching Valhalla in pre-order numbers, which launched on Steam in post-generation, whatever, the numbers are solid. So this is important terminology that I wonder if it's a quote directly from the article. The numbers are solid and are likely to rise further given its Steam release announcement. The pre-orders got canceled, so there are no pre-order numbers for them to look at. Are they basing it on the pre-order numbers from before? I do wonder how that number comes up, how that speculation comes up. But anyway, what do you think about the rumor that there was actually a male Japanese character instead of Yasuke? What do you think of the rumor that Yasuke's going to be replaced? Well, I seriously doubt the second part. Would it surprise me that there was a male Japanese main character before Yasuke? I believe it. I do not find it hard to believe. Do I think they're going to replace Yasuke? No chance in hell. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTube is begging you to do. And I do hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.